Right guys, this is the offending article. This is the problematic ASW that I've got that insists on turning left all the time. So I'm going to walk you around it and hopefully somebody might pick up on something. So I would say that the frame, the fuse, is as straight as it's ever been. I know it's difficult to see on camera, but the last crash he had was quite gentle. It landed in the treetops of quite a soft tree, and it wasn't knocked down by the finder to get it out of the tree, which broke the tail off, but I don't think it was a tremendously hard landing it had, because that was the only damage. But having said that, you can see that the wing spars look a bit askew, and they were pretty bent, and I've had to straighten them best I can. But if I roll that one round, you can see it's still not straight, and this one is much the same. But everything inside it looks okay. I can't see anything broken. Tail, well, it looks as straight as it's always been, I believe. You can see I've repaired it around the back. It just snapped completely off, so it's been gorilla glued through here, and these struts have always been on it. There's a bit of movement in there, but it always had that. It's always flown fine, right up until that last crash in the treetops. It's flown fine. So I did find yesterday that the rudder clevis, the screws had sunk in and become loose, so there was slack in there, which I've tightened up. There is a little bit of weakness in the servo, I think, because you can stall it when it's going anti-clockwise or turning right quite easily. It seems slightly more than going left, but I don't know whether that could be it. I mean, it should really turn without the use of the rudder, I would have thought. Well, I've got it Y-leaded into the ailerons, which has always worked fine. There's some slack in here. I mean, I know it's got a reinforcing rod under here, and it is glued in, but you know, you can sort of twist this slightly independently of this side. I wonder if maybe, perhaps, if one side of the elevator wasn't moving quite as much as the other, whether that would act like an aileron in a way, but I'm pretty sure it's always been much like that. So you can see she looks straight bodily, at least I think so. Now it does this turning to the left with the motor on or off, so I mean, there's no bent motor shaft or anything, not that I think that would cause it. I've had planes that have had quite a few crashes in the past and had tail planes not quite vertical and stuff like that, but they still flew alright. You'd have to put a little bit of trim in to correct them, perhaps. So yeah, I mean, those spars certainly look a bit on the skew, but we'll see what it looks like with the wings in. Now, when I have broken these winglets off a few times and glued them back on. I don't know whether if they weren't quite square or whatever, that could cause it. I mean, that one looks pretty good. This one slightly turns in a little bit. That's the one that's been damaged in the past. Wings, they look straight enough. Can't see anything wrong there. There is some sort of flex in here. I mean, this bit here, I can hold it and flex at the same time. A bit sort of bendy there, this side, but then the main spars go through here. Whether I assume that probably all of yours do that too. That's the CG marks I use, which are recommended, and I've always managed to fly it quite happily somewhere around that. I took this off just now because in the past I fitted a hinge just here and it looked a bit sloppy, so tightened it up a little bit. Pretty sure that, I mean, these are pretty weak looking arrangements, I have to say. And it's all there, all works. Brilliant. That is brilliant, isn't it? Let's have a look at this one. Really, I mean, I'm sure all these little things can add up, but nothing really is much different to how it's always been, I don't think. Right, I'll connect her up and then see what you think. Right, here we are with her assembled. One thing I have noticed is that I seem to get this gap here now. So you know, the wing seems to be a bit floppy. That one's not much better, but they are clicked in. I don't know whether that's always been like that or not, I have to say, and I don't know really why that should be any different, unless it's the shape of the you know, maybe the fact that the aluminium rods are bent is causing that. Anyway, you can see the control surfaces, so everything's working the right way. Rudder's turning a right aileron's turning a right, left aileron's working the opposite direction, absolutely fine. Got quite a lot of throw, on the rudder, look. You'd have thought that would have made it turn even without ailerons. Now we're in pass-through mode. If I put the stabilisation on, you're going to see it's working. That aileron's working the right direction. So is that one. Doesn't really matter about the elevator, but you can also see that the rudder is also still working the right way, as you can see, like that. Just wanted to turn about left, so the opposite way. Everything looks straight enough, I would have thought. I don't know whether that movement in there have an awful lot of effect. And I've had other gliders that have had pretty slack fitting wings and they seem fine, so I'm not really convinced that that would be the overall problem, but I'm no expert. I mean, certainly that can rock around there. I don't quite know how to stop that. I suppose I can try turning the spar a little bit. Slop seems to be just the slack fit in the tubes. Well, turning in that way seemed to angle it in slightly. Maybe that is the issue. This one's not so, well, maybe it is. It's pretty much the same. So if I pull in and out, they lock at that point. I can't see why that would have changed since the last time she flew fine, though. Especially since she didn't really have any major repairs carried out. I'll give you a picture from the back. The hinge is a bit bent. Those wings look a little bit wavery along their length, but I can't stall this rudder out. I don't think I can stall this aileron out very easily. Why is it pulling so badly? Got to be a reason for it. Let's try stalling this aileron out. Right. Puzzled. I think I'll bung it up in the air again and let you see what it does this time. fly it this time and hopefully pick up some views of the control surfaces in use and see if I can see a reason. Because this is very frustrating. I want my old ASW back. I want to be able to go off soaring and exploring.